You go to IKEA just to buy one item, but as you wander among the shelves, things you don't need end up in your cart. Those small, cheap-looking items in the bargain bins, before you know it, they've turned into a huge bill. When you leave the checkout, your wallet feels lighter, because this isn't a coincidence. It's a system designed to take your brain out of task mode and put it into browsing mode. IKEA is a meticulously engineered spending machine. The architect of this system was founder Ingvar Kamprad. In the 1950s, his first store in Älmhult faced a specific challenge. Customers would simply grab one item and leave immediately. To combat this, Kamprad transformed the store into a strategic maze. One path, one direction, no easy exits, by design. He didn't just want to sell furniture, he built a system where the psychology of the layout forces you to engage with every single product category. The strategy begins with the forced path layout, which often extends over 1 kilometer. As you navigate through perfectly staged showrooms, your brain experiences something called the Gruen Effect. This phenomenon causes you to forget your original intent, switching from mission mode to browsing mode, and browsers naturally buy more because they are fully immersed in the setting. Along this path, IKEA utilizes the bulla technique, flooding bins with cheap items like $1 candles or kitchen tools. Individually, they seem insignificant, but they stack up rapidly. Then comes the showroom effect. Instead of seeing a couch on a sterile shelf, you see it in a fully decorated living room with soft lighting. Your brain stops evaluating a single product and begins to desire the entire lifestyle scene. You came for a lamp, but the environment makes you want the whole bedroom setup. By the time you reach the marketplace section, you are hit with round 2 of impulse opportunities. Every meter of the store, from the arrows on the floor to the very pencils you use, is working to influence your choices and guide your movement toward the next purchase. The results of this engineering are staggering. The average IKEA customer spends 60% more than they originally planned. This isn't just shopping. It's a calculated strategy. A key component is the food. IKEA's restaurants serve over 650 million meatballs annually. Cheap meals are not a side business. They are a tactic to keep you in the store longer. A happy, well-fed shopper spends more time browsing, which directly translates to more spending. IKEA even admits their $1 hot dog is a loss leader, designed to maintain customer happiness. In contrast to Apple, which uses wide open spaces to create desire and scarcity, IKEA focuses on high volume and impulse. And this continues right up to the register. While most supermarkets have a small impulse section at checkout, IKEA provides an entire warehouse stretch. As you grab your flat pack furniture, you are suddenly surrounded by storage boxes, LED strips, and gadgets you might need. This final stretch alone adds an average of $20 to $30 to every visit. Nothing is random. Not even the bag you carry is a coincidence. Every element is part of a system designed to maximize the volume of items in your cart before you pay. But there is a hidden cost to this spending machine. The forced path is exhausting by design. It's meant to induce something called decision fatigue. After 45 minutes of constant choosing, your tired brain loses its ability to resist impulse purchases. Beyond the personal toll, there is a significant environmental cost. Many bulla impulse buys are not built to last, and often end up in landfills within 2 years. The maze layout is not universal. It can be genuinely stressful for customers with anxiety or sensory issues, who struggle with the lack of easy exits. The shortcuts that do exist are deliberately made difficult to find, to ensure you stay on the intended path. Every friendly showroom is a carefully designed trap for your wallet, prioritizing volume and impulse over long-term durability. To navigate IKEA successfully, you need awareness and a plan. Bring a physical list with a bold budget written at the top. Use the hidden shortcuts. Skip the tempting marketplace bins. And always eat before you arrive, to avoid being a vulnerable, hungry shopper. The broader lesson is this: every modern retail experience, whether an app, a website, or a physical store, is designed to guide your choices through layout, colors, and pricing. Understanding the game doesn't mean you will never make an impulse buy again, but it allows you to notice the nudges. Before grabbing that third candle, Ask yourself, do you truly want it, or were you simply guided there by the environment? Because ultimately, the most expensive product IKEA sells isn't a piece of furniture. It's the powerful illusion that every single purchase you made was entirely your own idea,